In this video, I've put some practice questions on mechanical comprehension for you to prepare for the ASVAB test. In the figure below, what is true about supports A and B? So let's take a look at the figure here. Okay, notice that the load is closer to support B, therefore support B carries more weight. So let's take a look at the options here. Support A carries more weight, not enough information. Support B carries more weight. The load is equal for both supports. The answer here is this one. Support B carries more weight. A concrete beam has a maximum strength of 3,000 psi or pounds per square inch. In an experiment, a 500-pound weight is placed in the center of the beam, and the stress in the beam is measured to be 1,000 psi. If the stresses in the beam continue to increase at the same rate, with added weight, how much additional weight can be added to the same location on the beam before the beam will break? Alright, it is given here that the maximum strength of the beam is 3,000 psi, and in an experiment, when a 500-pound weight is placed in the center of the beam, the stress in the beam is measured to be 1,000 psi. So the first 500 pounds generated 1,000 psi of stress in the beam. Therefore, if we add more pounds or add more 500 more pounds, it will be, okay, we add another 500 pounds, then this will increase to a total of 2,000 psi stress. Okay, but it's given here that the maximum strength is 3,000 psi, then we can add another 500 pounds, and this would increase the stress to 3,000 psi. And we are asked here for the additional weight that can be added before the beam will break, because the beam will break when the strength is more than 3,000 psi. Now, on top of the first 500 pounds that we added to the weight, we added a total of 1,000 pounds to reach the maximum strength of 3,000 psi. Therefore, the answer here is 1,000 pounds. Which of the following is the best example of an inclined plane? A screw, a slide, a swing, or a hatchet? The answer here is a slide. A slide is the best example of an inclined plane. It is a surface tilted at an angle used for raising or lowering objects. Which of the following will happen when a mass of air contracts? The air gets warmer, the air gets colder, the air moves faster, or the air remains at the same time. Okay, what is air? So air is a gas, and according to the gas laws, gases will get colder when they contract. Therefore, the answer here is the air gets colder. Which of the following is an example of a class 2 lever? Seesaw, scissors, bottle opener, fishing rod. The answer here is bottle opener. Okay, the figure here on the right is an illustration of class 1, 2, and 3 levers. So a bottle opener belongs to a single class 2 lever, while seesaw and scissors, okay, these are class 1, while the fishing rod is class 3. Which of the following is an example of a class 1 lever? Wheelbarrow, tongs, stapler, or pliers? The answer here is this one, pliers. Pliers are an example of a class 1 lever, while wheelbarrow and stapler, this one, are class 2, while tongs are class 3. A block of steel has a density of 0.29 pounds per cubic inch. Okay, let's take note of that. That is one given value, which density is 0.29 pounds per cubic inch. If the block has dimensions of 1 inch by 1 inch by 3 inches, what is its weight? Okay, let's say this is our block. It has a dimension 1 inch by 1 inch by 3 inches, and we need to solve for its weight. Alright, since we're given here the dimensions of the block, then we can calculate for the volume of the block. So the volume will just be equal to the length times the width and height of the block. So we just plug in all the given values. That would be 1 inch times 1 inch times 3 inches. And this would give us a volume which is equal to 3 cubic inches. Now to calculate for the weight, we're given here the density. So we just have to multiply the density and the volume. So that would be density times volume. So we plug in the values. That would be 0.29 pounds per cubic inches times the volume, which is 3 cubic inches. Then this cancels out the cubic inches a unit. Then we're left with pounds. So that would be 0.29 times 3. That would give us a value which is equal to 0.87 pound. Right. So the answer here is this one, 0.87 pound. What is a vector quantity? Volume, gravity, mass, magnitude. So among the choices here, the answer should be gravity, because gravity is a type of force, and since force has magnitude and direction, then it is known as a vector quantity. What is a component of potential energy? Newtons and distance, gravity's relationship to mass, upward reactive force, or the energy of movement. So an object's potential energy is equal to its mass times its acceleration due to gravity times its height. Or potential energy is equal to mgh, where m is the mass, g is acceleration due to gravity, which is equal to 9.8 meter per second squared, and then this one is for the height. Therefore, the answer here is this one, gravity's relationship to mass. At minimum, how many pulleys are there in a block and tackle system? 4, 2, 3, 1. So the block and tackle pulley system requires at least 2 or more pulleys, but the bare minimum for this system is 2. So the answer here is 2, because it says minimum. When torque increases, speed increases then decreases, increases remains the same, or decreases. The answer here is decreases. So when torque increases, speed decreases. Torque and speed are inversely proportional to each other. So this means that when torque increases, the speed decreases, and vice versa. This is because the power output of a motor is constant. So if torque increases, speed must decrease in order to maintain the same power output. Which shelf will support the most weight? The answer here is this one, letter D. What type of gear arrangement is this? Spur, worm and wheel, rack and pinion, or bevel? The answer here is worm and wheel. Extending the reach of this crane will shift its total weight, allowable speed, center of gravity, or center of buoyancy. So in this case, the center of gravity will shift, or will be changed. Right. Why does the intake valve open on this pump when the piston goes down? So this is the intake valve. Okay, air pressure at X is greater than air pressure at Y. Air pressure at Z is less than air pressure at X. Air pressure at X is less than the air pressure at Y. Or air pressure at Y is greater than air pressure at Z. The answer here is air pressure at X here is greater than the air pressure at Y. That's why the intake valve is open on this pump here when the piston goes down.